Regionals has finally concluded, and the 20 bids for Nationals have been claimed. Let's take a look at each region and see how they panned out. The Atlantic Coast was a lock of all locks for UNC Darkside to make Nationals, and they do so, winning every game by 6 or more goals. The biggest question would be how everything else pans out, as there were a solid 10 contenders who could have made the game to go. 4 seed UNC Wilmington goes 1-2 in pool play and fails to make the bracket. 10 seed Maryland has universe wins against Virginia and William & Mary to win their pool. Both the 2 and 3 seeds, South Carolina and Virginia, failed to win their pool, and it panned out where they had to play each other in pre-quarters. During bracket play, Virginia Tech had a 7-3 lead over Duke, yet failed to lead going into halftime. They end up losing the game. Maryland was up 13-10 against Georgetown and lost the game still. Amongst the chaos, James Madison paves their way to play against UNC in the game to go, only to lose 15-5. UNC claims the lone Atlantic Coast bid. The Southeast was another region with 1 bid, but this one wasn't a gimme. Entering the weekend, it was a consensus that the game to go would be played between Georgia and Georgia Tech, and that is exactly what happened. Both teams won their games leading into the finals by a comfortable margin. Majority of this region was chalky, with some of the bigger upsets being 14 seed Central Florida beating 6 seed Alabama Huntsville in pre-quarters, and 9 seed Auburn taking 3rd place overall. The game to go was filmed, but it's behind a Patreon paywall at the moment, so I will have to rely on Twitter/Discord commentary to recap the game. The game started out rough for Georgia Tech, with them going down 7-3. From the notes, it seems like Georgia Tech was making execution and communication errors rather than Georgia making defensive plays. Georgia Tech doesn't back down and goes on a run of their own to bring the game to 7s. Despite the comeback effort, Georgia maintains their lead, winning 14-12. From what I saw and heard, if this game does become free to watch, it's a must-watch game. The Great Lakes was another region with 1 bid and a 2-horse race. Saturday consisted of pool play and pre-quarters, with the only upset was when 9 seed Northwestern beat 8 seed Southern Illinois University Edwardsville in pre-quarters. Everything else went to chalk. Sunday is when things got crazy, when 7 seed Michigan upset 1 seed Chicago in quarterfinals. This meant that Indiana had to beat Michigan State rather than Chicago to make the game to go, and that's what they did. On the other half of the bracket, Michigan cruised their way to the finals and won the finals against Indiana 14-9. Michigan will head back to Nationals after a tame regionals in the Great Lakes. 2 total games occurred where there was an upset based off of seeding. The Metro East is such a crapshoot that it's hard to tell what's going to happen entering regionals. The 4 teams that won their pools were Cornell, Ottawa, Columbia, and Syracuse. All of those teams, with the exception of Columbia, made it to the semifinals. 4 seed Yale beat Columbia 15-13 in the quarterfinals to face off against Ottawa in the semifinals. Yale ends up putting a good fight up against Ottawa, but Ottawa squeaks away with an 11-10 victory. On the other half of the bracket, 1 seed Cornell narrowly wins 9-8 against RIT, then easily beats Syracuse 14-9 to face off in the championship against Ottawa. Cornell goes up 5-3 by claiming 3 straight breaks. All they need to do is hold on to this lead and they will go to Nationals. Cornell is unable to hold on to the lead as Ottawa wins the game 15-8 and they will go to Nationals for the 2nd consecutive year. The North Central is yet again another region with 1 bid and has a clear favorite to win, being Carleton Cup. All 3 of Carleton, Minnesota, and Wisconsin win their pools as expected, but the 9 seed Wisconsin Lacrosse upsets Iowa and Iowa State to win Pool D. Bracket play did not have many notes. Wisconsin Lacrosse's journey ended by losing to 6 seed Marquette in the quarterfinals. Carleton and Minnesota both cruised their way to the finals, with Carleton winning handily 15-8. Our last 1 bid region is the Ohio Valley, which the 2 biggest contenders entering are Penn State and Pittsburgh. Much of Saturday stays calm, with 6 seed Case Western Reserve winning their pool by beating 3 seed Carnegie Mellon on Universe. Bracket play is where things get a little more interesting. With Pittsburgh's poor performance at conferences, they were seeded 4th at regionals, and with both them and Penn State winning their pools and quarterfinals matchups, those two teams met in the semifinals. Penn State is able to score an early break, and they hold on and grow that lead throughout the game. The game got out of hand quick enough that Ultiworld moved the stream to another game within the region. Penn State wins this game 13-8 and will face Ohio State in the game to go. Ohio State had a rough Saturday, but they upset 2 seed Cincinnati in quarterfinals to start Sunday. Despite that, Penn State easily wins the game 15-9, which punches their ticket to nationals for the second straight year. The South Central region has 3 bids and a wild Saturday. Teams were only able to play 2 games on Saturday due to weather. This meant Sunday's schedule had to be revamped, and teams didn't know who they were playing until that moment. With that, the bracket went to chalk, with the top 4 seeds, Colorado, Texas, Washington University, and Colorado State all making the semifinals. Colorado beat Colorado State 13-6, and Washington University beat Texas 13-7 to have both teams advance to the nationals and the finals, which was not played due to the field quality. Texas and Colorado State each won another game after their semifinals loss to advance them to the game to go. Colorado State started off with 2 breaks, and Texas immediately got those 2 breaks back. The game stayed on pace with mainly holds and the occasional Texas break. Texas held on to their lead narrowly as Colorado State got a break late to bring the game to 12-11, but Texas got a hold to win the game 13-11, and they will advance to nationals. The Southwest is another 3-bid region with plenty of contenders. Despite the plethora of contenders, the quarterfinals had each of the 1 through 8 seeds, with the seeded favorites winning their games. This brought us to have a Cal Poly SLO versus Santa Barbara and California versus Santa Cruz semifinals. Cal Poly SLO won their game with ease, 15-6. Santa Cruz versus California was a closer game. The game was all holds until 9-9 when Santa Cruz got the first break of the game, giving them their first lead of the game. Santa Cruz is able to get another break shortly after and win the game 14-12, sending them to nationals. In the backdoor bracket, California beat UCLA 14-11, and Santa Barbara beat San Diego 14-13 to send each team to the game to go. California gets the first break of the game and eventually takes an 11-8 lead.
Yeah, but like the ultimate, like it's fine.
California barely holds on and claims the 3rd bid from the Southwest region. The New England region has 3 bids as well, but there are 5 teams ranked within the top 25, being UMass, Vermont, Tufts, Brown, and Northeastern. McGill is a 6th team that could play an underdog and ruin others' dreams if they play well. Pool play and crossover games went pretty much as you would expect, setting the championship bracket up with 7 of the top 8 seeds, with 10 seed Boston College making the bracket. The biggest quarterfinal matchup is Tufts versus Vermont, where Tufts wins the game 11-7, sending them to the semifinals. The other semifinal teams are Massachusetts, Brown, and Northeastern. Massachusetts obliterated Brown 15-6, and Northeastern beat Tufts 13-10. Sending both of these teams to nationals. Moving to the backdoor bracket, McGill wins a universe point game against Boston College to have them play against Tufts. Unfortunately for McGill, their run ends here, as Tufts heads to the game to go with a 13-9 victory. The other side of the backdoor bracket has Vermont versus Brown. The game got chippy, with a lot of physicality on defense for both sides. Vermont takes an early lead and eventually goes up 14-11. Vermont wins and will play Tufts in the game to go. Despite the close score, Vermont was in control of the game throughout. They went up multiple breaks early and maintained the lead throughout the game. Vermont beats Tufts 10-8 and will head to nationals. The Northwest is where the chaos happens, with a staggering 5 bids. I'll try my best to recap this, but there's so much going on within a 5-bid region. We have 4 pools of 3 teams, with the winner being in the semifinals. Oregon beats Washington and Oregon State beats British Columbia. Both of the winning teams are going to nationals, and the loser will move to the 2nd through 4th place bracket. In that bracket, Utah beats Victoria and Western Washington beats Utah Valley. The winners will play against Washington and British Columbia. Both semifinal losers mentioned earlier, British Columbia and Washington, lose again and move to the 5th place bracket. This puts both Utah and Western Washington at nationals. Moving to the 5th place bracket, we have Utah Valley versus British Columbia and Victoria versus Washington. Victoria dismantles Washington 15-7 and heads to the game to go. Utah Valley has a strong lead against British Columbia in the second half, but British Columbia makes a comeback and wins on Universe 14-13. Finally, we are at the game to go, and this game was a mess all around. There were a massive amount of poor foul calls and rough gameplay. The game was close throughout, and nearly everyone was rooting for Victoria to win. Eventually, the game is brought to Universe points.
Catch that! Gotta catch it! Uh-oh!
British Columbia barely makes it to nationals after being in a game-to-go situation on Saturday. Finally, the teams for nationals are set. Looking back at my predictions, I was way off. All of the regions with 2 strong contenders, I picked the wrong team. Oh well. We have a few weeks until nationals. This year is going to be chaotic yet again. I can't wait.